Questions for Carlos Mendoza. Please use the raise your hand feature and we'll get to you. Once again, please feel free to use the raise your hand feature and we'll start getting some questions queued. All right, Laura. I'm not sure if it's me, Laura, but I can't hear you. We'll try Dave.
Hi, Carlos.
Hey, David.
A question regarding Juan Soto. David Stearns had just mentioned to us that he's going to be switching from right field to left field for this season. He mentioned he was working out there for the Dominican team for the WBC. He mentioned the conversation came about organically. I'm just curious how your conversations with Juan went this offseason and kind of getting to that place and him heading to left field.
Yeah, I had a lot of conversations with Juan throughout the off season. I visited him in the Dominican Republic, and it wasn't until probably late December when we started getting closer to roster construction with the WBC that I asked him on a conversation that we had. I said, "Where are they going to have you playing in the Dominican Republic?" And he said, "I'm playing left field. Tatis is going to play right field." I was like, "How do you feel about that?" And he was very honest. That's a position that I feel comfortable as well. When I first came up with the Nationals, my first 2.5, 3 years, I played in left field. Then they moved me to right. My last year I was in right field. Then I get traded to the Padres. So he started going down the road. Then it's like the following year, Tatis was back and they put me in left field. I think that was my best year with outfield assists and things like that. And I said, which one you feel more comfortable? And it's like, I feel really good at both, he said, but I'm getting ready to play left field. And say, and I just asking how would you feel to play left field for us? And it's like, I'm willing to do whatever. If you want me to pitch, Mendy, I'll pitch, kind of like with that smile, right? And then I was like, is that something that now, seriously speaking here, is that something that you will consider? And if it makes sense for both, it's like, absolutely. Like I said, he reinforced it and said, I'm comfortable in right, I'm comfortable in left, whatever the team needs. So I got off the phone with him and gave David a call, and that's how the whole process started it. And then, we wanted to make sure, roster construction, where were the pieces and things like that. It just got to a point where it made more sense for us to go ahead and do it. So
And so that what you said, it started in December, and then you guys probably talked about it maybe last month in January about.
yeah, it was towards the end of December. I can't really, because I had so many conversations with him, and this was what and then early in the off season, you don't know how rosters for the WBC are going to shape out.
Right.
So once we started closer to for this baseball team to start announcing their teams, the conversation, I think we were kidding against like the Venezuelan team compared to the Dominican team. It's like, oh, by the way, where are they going to have you play?
Right.
And that's when the left field conversation came up, and he took me down the road when he first came up, like I mentioned, and his year in with the Padres. He also mentioned with the Yankees, they had him playing left field when they were playing the Red Sox at Fenway Park. So he's like, he was very honest and very genuine about it. So that's kind of how I decided to move forward with it.
Great, thanks, Carlos.
Next up, we'll go to Laura.
Hey, Carlos. I was just wondering what your reaction was to the Francisco Lindor news, and I guess what's your level of optimism that he will be ready for opening day?
Knowing Francisco, I'm optimistic, even if he has to go down the surgery route. I found out a couple of days ago, and I didn't think much of it. This is a guy that's played through a lot, but for him to say something this early, I was kind of like on the back of my head. I was like, sure enough, he's like David mentioned. He's going to go see the doctor. And again, if we have to go that route, I'm optimistic that he'll be ready to play shortstop for us on opening day.
If that were not to happen, I mean, what would you consider your plan B, considering, you're trying to acclimate Bo Bichette to third base, but you do have a lot of shortstops on the roster?
Yeah, so right now, Bo's going to get a lot of work at third base. We got to get him used to that position, Polanco, Simeon at second base. If we get to a point where we're getting closer to opening day And as we're getting updates from Lindor, if ends up getting the surgery, then we will have to adjust. But as of right now, we go with the guys that we got in camp here. And like I said, we'll revisit again as we get closer to opening day.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, as we call on you, if you could just state your full name and your affiliation, that'd be great. We're gonna go to John.
Hey, Carlos, John Parado from Yard Barker Sports. You've had a whole lot of changes to your roster, a lot of guys coming, a lot of guys going. Now that the dust is kind of settled, I wonder what you think of your club here at the beginning of spring training.
I'm excited. I feel good about a lot of the players that we were able to bring in, guys with playoff experience, guys with World Series experience. I like the depth of our pitching staff. I like the versatility from the position player group, the athleticism, the balance in the lineup. So it's an exciting group. Now we got to go out and do it. But again, good with where we are as a team right now.
Okay, thank you.
Edgard.
Hola Carlos, por acá Edgar González de HSM Deportes de Venezuela. Te pregunto en primer lugar por los venezolanos, ¿cómo piensas manejar la receptoría con Francisco Álvarez y Luis Torrens para esta campaña? Y la segunda va de la mano con la llegada de Freddy Peralta. ¿Qué crees que te puede ofrecer él? Y si ya tienes una idea de cómo armar la rotación de cara a lo que viene.
Sí, mira, con Francisco y con Luis, de la misma manera como lo hemos hecho los años anteriores, especialmente cuando los dos están sanos, ¿no? Nos sentimos bastante cómodos con los dos jugando detrás del plato. Obviamente Torrens fue finalista para el Guante de Oro el año pasado durante la ausencia de Albi, pero Albi va a ser el titular. Albi va a recibir la mayoría de las oportunidades. Lo que tenemos es que rezar que él se mantenga sano, que los dos se mantengan sanos, porque nosotros somos un equipo completamente diferente cuando los dos están saludables y jugando a su mayor capacidad. Con respecto a Peralta, súper contento, ¿verdad?, de lo que él añade a la rotación de nosotros. Un lanzador que ha sido el número uno prácticamente con la organización de Milwaukee en los últimos años. Una gran persona. En lo que se refiere cuál el orden de la rotación, mira, todavía son 6 semanas que pasan muchas cosas. Tenemos que esperar que pasen los días, que se sigan desarrollando, que se sigan con su progresión y pues tendremos las decisiones de cómo los vamos a alinear para el Opening Day.
Next, we'll go to Rashid.
Hey, Carlos. Rashid McDonald, Rashid Sports Media. This season, the roster looks very different when you look at the additions of Freddie Peralta, Marcus Semien, Bo Bichette, and others. In 2024, the locker room unity fueled a late playoff push, and last season, things didn't end you guys' way. So how do you, as a team, build leadership this year so that it's a strength from day one?
Yeah, I think that's as one of the priorities here in the early going in spring training with so many new faces, not only from the player side, but the coaching staff. That's, like I said, that's going to be a priority here for us to make sure we start those relationships, getting to know each other, because that's the key. Once you get to 162, you're going to go through ups and downs, and how strong those guys are in there, whether it was 2024, 2025. I think we got to go out and do it. We got to go out there and execute and play our games. But I'm happy. I'm excited about some of the new faces that we added to our roster. And now we just got to, like I said, build that foundation moving forward.
Next, we'll go to Ana Luisa.
Hola, Carlos. Ana Luisa Arias para Diario Libre y Grandes en los Deportes. La segunda base el año pasado fue, vamos a decir que se switchó mucho de jugadores. Este año tienen a Jorge Polanco. ¿Cuáles son las expectations for him in this position?
Polanco lo firmamos para que jugara primera base. Él va a jugar primera base. Obviamente es un infield que ha jugado segunda, short, pero nosotros lo traemos para que juegue primera base. Marcus Semien es el que va a jugar la segunda base. Sabemos la calidad de pelotero defensivamente que es. Ha ganado guantes de oro, es un jugador élite en esa posición. Pues en este momento, pues los planes es para que Semien juegue segunda base y Jorge pueda estar en la primera base y de designado también.
Are there any other additional questions for Carlos Mendoza? All right, Mendy, thank you very much for your time. Everybody stand by. In about 10 minutes, we'll come back with David Stearns. Thank you very much for joining us. If you have questions for David Stearns, please use the raise your hand feature. And when you use that, please state your name and affiliation. Questions for David? We'll start off with C. Trent.
Hey, David. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Sorry, use the mic. Trent Rosecrans, The Athletic. Was doing something on Derek Johnson, a guy that you know pretty well. And when you look at so many of his coaches, his assistant coaches, he's had 4 assistant pitching coaches since he's been with the Reds. And 3 of those 4 are now head pitching coaches, and the other is your guy who is in charge of your development. What is there a common thread to the guys that have worked with Derek that makes them such good candidates and such good pitching coaches and the rest?
Well, I think it first and foremost, it probably speaks to Derek's ability and DJ's ability to help develop staff members that he's working with, and his collaborative ability. I imagine that stems from his time at Vanderbilt, when he was part of not only developing players but developing grad assistants and people in the office and coaches he was working with there. And then it also speaks to his knowledge of pitching and his knowledge of competing on the mound, and that no doubt informs all the people he's working with. So, DJ, I think, is one of the more respected pitching minds in baseball right now. I was fortunate to work with him in Milwaukee, and certainly he's impacted a number of individuals who are now coaching around the industry.
Are there additional questions for David? We'll go with Tyler.
How's it going, David? Tyler Bronski, TV Sports. A lot of intriguing non-roster invitees for you guys. Curious about Craig Kimbrel. What's intriguing to you about him? What you're seeing that's kind of left in the tank there, and the likelihood you think he'll be able to break camp with you guys.
Yeah, we're excited to have Craig in camp. This is someone who has an incredible amount of experience and success pitching in the back end of bullpens. We saw him have success both at the AAA level and the Major League level towards the end of last year. It certainly looks like he still has the ability to get Major League hitters out. We value the experience. We value the wisdom, and so having someone like that in our camp and potentially on our Major League team made a lot of sense for us to give it a look and give him a chance.
Rashid.
Hey, David, Rashid Sports Media. While some teams chose to run it back, you completely reshaped this roster, and that meant moving on from some young talent that the organization valued and some veterans that were fan favorites as well, and without compromising the long-term outlook of the franchise. How do you weigh in that balance between improving now and sustaining the future?
Yeah, that balance is something we talk about all the time, and there's never going to be a perfect formula or a perfect answer for that. We do our best to both be able to compete right now to the best of our ability in a major market in New York with a really talented Major League roster, while also recognizing that we will continue to need contributions from our younger players, from our farm system, continue to develop people to supplement our Major League roster. And so it is a balance. There's no perfect answer for it. We try to take every decision as it comes and make the best decision in the interest of our organization. And that was a focus of ours this offseason. How do we create the most competitive team we possibly can at the Major League level, while also retaining as much of our young emerging talent as we can?
Jim? Jim, you have to unmute yourself.
My apologies. David, can you give us an update on Francisco Lindor's left hamate bone? And if there is a stress fracture, does the hamate bone have to be removed? If he is out for a long period of time, would that mean that Bo Bichette would probably play shortstop if that were to happen? Also, the move from Juan Soto from right field to left field, can you tell us what your analytics were saying about when he was with Washington and San Diego and spent time in left field? How did he do defensively compared to playing right field for the Yankees as well? Thank you.
So starting off with Lindor, he's going to see a hand specialist tomorrow to evaluate a potential stress reaction in his left hamate. It is possible that it could require the conventional hamate surgery, where they remove a piece of the hamate bone. We don't know for sure. We'll know more tomorrow. If it does require that surgery, the expected return to major league competition is right around 6 weeks. We've got right around 6 weeks to opening day, and so we'd remain confident and optimistic that he'll be our opening day shortstop. If that's not the case, then we'll tackle that as we get closer to opening day. But certainly our expectation is regardless of what happens here, he's going to be on the dirt for us at Citi Field when we open up. And then on Juan Soto, he's very comfortable in left field. He expressed that to us with the way our roster is coming together this year. It really made sense for both sides. This wasn't particularly an analytically driven decision. This was a conversation about where he's working out. He's going to be playing left field for the DR and the WBC, bouncing him back and forth throughout camp. Didn't really seem like the best way to get him prepared for optimal success in a major league year. Made sense for our roster, and so we did it.
Gabe?
Hey, David. The offseason added so many different players and big personalities and accomplished players. What are you looking to see from the group with regard to sort of coming together and melding all these new players? And what's the upside perhaps of just changing up the mix coming into this year and then obviously while adding a lot of talent?
Yeah, we've got a fun group, and I think even these first couple of days down here, we feel it. We've got guys who are smiling, we've got guys who are having fun. They're having fun with each other. It's interesting. Like we do have new faces here, but baseball is such a small community, and these guys, maybe they haven't all played on the same team before, but they've certainly competed against each other for a number of years. Some of them are represented by the same agencies. Some of them live in the same towns in the off season. So it hasn't felt these first couple of days like we're integrating a lot of new people. There are a lot of relationships that have existed previously. From what I can tell, the guys who are new feel pretty comfortable because they already know people. So it's been fun to watch, and I look forward to that continuing to build.
John?
Hi, David. Spinning off of Gabe's question a little, I know from a personality standpoint to switch things up, but you made a lot of moves. People came and gone, and now that you're there in spring training, just from an on-the-field standpoint, how excited are you about the way your team looks and stacks up for this season?
Yeah, we're very excited about our team this year. We feel like we've got a good team. We know that we're in a really tough division, and it's going to be close and a major test the entire way. But we're excited about our group. I think we've got a very hungry group throughout our roster, players who want to win. And so, we're going to work hard over these next 6-7 weeks to get prepared for the season. And I'm very confident we're going to be ready when the bell rings.
Edgar?
Hi, David. Edgar Gonzalez from Venezuela. Why did you make the decisions to move Juan Soto to left field?
Yeah, that was made really through a series of off-season conversations between Carlos Mendoza and Juan over the last month or so. We probably all finally decided at some point last week, I guess, maybe a week, 10 days ago, that this was where we were headed. But it's kind of been an ongoing conversation between Mendy and Juan And like I said, made sense for Juan, made sense for us, so we decided to go ahead and do it.
Any other last questions for David? All right, David, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.